So here we are going to learn the basic set of jack status annotations that you can use to create resources using add path annotation, and then the get, post, put, delete annotations. And we're going to actually build RESTful applications step by step using Spring Starter project, and we are going to learn the concept of sub resource locator. So creating a resource using add path annotation. So basically, you are going to use add path annotation on a project class to make that project class as exposed as a resource. Okay. And then you can actually specify get, put, post, delete annotations with any of the methods in that class. So let's say an example. So in this case, we have a widget resource class, and we annotate it with path widgets. So any URL that ends with widgets will be handled by this class. And then it has a two method. One is called the get list, and the other one is called the get widget. Okay. So both of these methods will handle get request. Okay. Now the path annotation could be specified at the class level and method level, and if you have a method level path annotation, that will be concatenated with a class level path annotation. So in this case, we have example.com/catalog. Catalog is the application context. It's basically an ID of that application /widget. So in this case, when you have received this URL, again, this is a get, right? And then it ends with widget. So this is the class that will be handled. First of all, the widget will be used to select which class will handle this request. So this class will be selected to handle this request. And then this is a get operation. So it will take a look at any method that is going to be able to handle get request. And we have two of those. Okay, now which one to use? Because this has no because this method doesn't have its own path method, so this is the one that will handle the first get request. Now the second request ends with / with some number. So in that case, this get request method with its own path will be used to handle this request. Okay. All right. So this resource is called the root resource class, and basically root resource class is the one that has the path annotation at the class level. Okay, so HTTP method annotation, get, post, put, and delete. Okay, so you can use any of these annotations on a method. So this is an example where we have employees class, which is annotated with path employees, and it does have a two method, get and create. And basically this get method will handle get request, and this will handle create request. Okay. We have another class called employee, which actually receives not only employees but also employee ID as a variable. And here we have a get, update, and delete method. Each of those method is annotated with a get, put, and delete annotation. And basically this get method is used to handle get request. Update method will be used to handle put request, and delete method is used to handle delete request. The names of the Java method do not really matter as long as the method is annotated with this get, put, and delete annotation. So what's important is which method is annotated with what annotation. Okay, pretty straightforward, and we have seen this slide already, so nothing much to talk about on this. This is again the same slide that we have seen in previous presentation. So we're gonna just move forward. Okay, so we're gonna do exercise 1, resource matching. So here we are going to unzip it, 4363 jar xvf. Okay, and let's take a look at the lab documentation. Labs and resource matching index. Okay. So the first exercise is simple resource matching. So here you are going to just import a project and run the application. So let's import the project from import Maven project, and I'm gonna just say labs, and it will import the project, those two projects. So the first project is Spring REST JAX status resource simple application. So you want to actually stop the previous running application. So stop this guy, and then you're going to right click and run it, run as, and again Java application or Spring Boot application, and select main application as a main class. And once it's up and running, we are going to again take a look at the remove this guy, and here you are going to again select new incognito window. So I'm going to select here, and then select localhost 8080. I have it as the link here, and this is what you are going to see. So you can click hello world, and it will display hello world. And if you click morning, it will say good morning, and if you click afternoon, it will just say afternoon. Okay, pretty straightforward. And if you take a look at the code, basically we have a dependency of Spring Boot starter Georgie, as we talked about, and then we have hello world resource, which has its own hello world, right? And then we have a three method. One is all of those are annotated with the get annotation, and it has its own the path, right? Okay, so when we have a slash morning, this method is going to be used. When you have a slash afternoon, this is what is going to be used. And again, we have a Georgie config.java file in which you are going to register your resource. We have a single resource called the hello world resource class, and then this is application class, which should be pretty standard for all sample application we have. And in index.html file, we basically have a URL, resources/hello world, resources/hello world morning and afternoon. Okay. All right, so for your exercise, I want you to add a new method, and it should return good evening. And then you can certainly do some experimentation. Remove get annotation and try to access it and see what happens. It should actually receive 4 error, right? Because there is no resource that you can actually access it. Change the path to the from morning and then some kind of bogus the morning XYZ, and try to access it, see what happens. Again, it should return should result in 4. Change get to put and see what happens. Again, it should return 4 error as well. Okay. All right, it's pretty straightforward exercise just to get your feet wet on JAX-RS, the path and the get annotations. I'll give you a few minutes to do this the exercise. So next we are going to build RESTful applications step by step. So here we're going to start with a Spring Starter project with Georgie. Yeah, looks like it's misspelled here. And we are going to add a Georgie config class, and then we are going to add resources. Here we're going to actually add simple hello world resource, and then we're going to just build and run the application. So pretty straightforward. Okay, so exercise 2. So here I'm going to actually demonstrate step-by-step process, and obviously documentation actually provides everything step by step. Okay, so you guys can actually follow with me if you want to. So select file, and you're going to select Spring Starter project. Okay, and here I'm going to name it in any way I want. So I'm going to just name it at Hello World REST or Hello World REST 3. So that was actually because I created multiple applications before. Okay, so I have Hello World REST, and you provide whatever group name of your choice. This is a Maven project, right? And you're going to actually have artifact, typically the same as the name, and then version number, description, and the package. And I select the WAR because I want to actually deploy this application as a WAR file in a real server in the future. Okay. So once you have this Maven project get created, now you have an option. So I'm going to just close these frequently used things, but the thing we need is basically the web. So expand web, and the only thing that you need to select is web and Georgie. So if you select Georgie, then it will add Georgie starter. And later on, we're going to actually add hate OAS as well. But since you're not using hate OAS at this point, you don't have to actually have a hate OAS. Just to select web and Georgie, and then you can select next. And basically, this is the URL that gets actually used to create this starter.zip file. Okay, so you select finish, and it's going to create hello world rest the project. And let's take a look at the pom.xml file it has. So if you take a look at the pom.xml file, basically it contains it contains a Georgie dependency. It does have a starter web dependency, and it does have a Tomcat because we actually selected the WAR file, so it actually added for us. Okay, so pretty straightforward pom.xml file. And let's see what has been created in the source. Okay, so the servlet initializer is actually created so that you can actually create a WAR file. Okay, this is the main project. Okay, so here we have a Spring Boot application, and basically it's just running the Spring Boot application. It's pretty standard Spring Boot application. Okay, so there is nothing to change. Usually I want to actually change the name of the application to main application so that I can select the right application. So I'm going to say Alt-Shift-R, and I'm going to call it main application. You don't have to do this. Okay. The next step is you're going to create Georgie config.java file. Okay, so we're going to create the Georgie config, and basically we need to have this configuration of Georgie config extends resource config, and application path we are going to use is the /resources, and then you specify your resource class. In this case, it should be whatever resource that you're going to create. We haven't created this one yet, right? Okay, so let's actually create the Georgie config, new, and class, and name it Georgie config. Okay, and for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to just copy this code like this. Okay, and obviously my hello world resource file has not been created yet, so I'm going to just click create class my hello world resource. So this is the resource class that we are going to use. So obviously you are going to have a path, right? So I'm going to use a path, and you specify the path. So maybe I'm going to just say hello world. Okay, and then we are going to have some method that will handle. Let's try to handle. Let's add a method that handles the get method. So we're going to say get, right? And maybe we don't. Yeah. So let's actually try to handle hello world / hello or something like that. So again, I could have another path at the method level. So here I'm going to say hello. You can have actually / hello or just a hello. Either one is fine. And then here is going to be returning string object string, and I'm going to say hello, and basically it will return maybe whatever. Yeah, so just return your name like this. Okay, so we have created a resource that is a single method of hello. So it should be it should be accessible through localhost 8080 /resources / hello world / hello, and it will return Sang, right? So basically that's all we have to do. So just save the change and stop the previous running application, and then you are going to just run it. Run as and Java application. All right, and main application here. Okay. Okay, so it's up and running. Now we should be able to access this guy. So let me actually access it using a call. So I'm going to say call, and it's going to be HTTP localhost 8080 resources, and it's going to be hello world and hello. Okay, and it returns Sang Shin, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay, All right, so that is basically it. Yeah, so I kind of explained the step-by-step process, and of course you should be able to access it from the browser as well, because oh, wait a minute, the localhost. Oh yeah, so I have to actually use the other one. Yeah, so the yeah, and then localhost 8080, and then it should be hello world and /hello. Yeah, I think I have to actually clean all the let's see what it has. So I'm gonna clean this guy as well, and this one. Yeah, so here I should be able to have new window and localhost. Now I can say hello world, hello. Yeah, it looks like I have to really, yeah, as long as your curl is working, you know, that's fine. It's just the you know, the Chrome in this case is actually saving previously accessed the URL. So I just have to open new one and then create the window, and then localhost 8080, and then hello world and hello. Yeah, this time it should. Oh, why well, I actually have 4.4. Oh, resources. I forgot the resources. Stupid. Resources. Yeah, maybe that's the reason. Okay, so it's returning Sang Shin. Okay, all right. So that is the step exercise 2. So I'll give you guys about 5 minutes to try exercise 2. Sub-resource locator. So what is sub-resource locator? Sub-resource locator is a method. It is a method that is annotated with path, but it is not annotated with its own get or post and things like that. Instead, what it does is that it returns another object called the sub-resource, which itself is contained methods with get, post, and put annotations. Okay? So why you want to use a sub-resource locator? Sub-resource locator support polymorphism, meaning it lets you choose, it lets the system to choose a different sub-resource object depending on some business conditions, maybe time of the day, or depending on, you know, some execution of some business logic or something like that. For example, a sub-resource locator could return different subtype resource depending on the role of the principal, meaning depending on the role of the user who has been authenticated. So when a user who access the resource is in fact a good customer, then we might want to support, we want to actually return we want to use the good customer resource object, while bad customer will actually use the bad customer resource. So idea is that we want to pick and choose a different resource object depending on business logic during runtime. So that is situations where you want to use a sub-resource locator. Okay, so this is an example. Suppose we have a resource called the item resource. Okay, so that is a root resource because it has its own path here, right? And now take a look at this item content resource. I'm sorry, the method is called the get item content resource method. And it does have its own path annotation, but it doesn't have any get, post, delete, and things like that. Instead, what it does is that based on some business logic, so we have this method called based on some business logic, it will return true or false, okay, in this case. And if it is returning true, then we are going to return item content resource 1 object. If it is false, then we are going to return different resource object. Now, if you take a look at the item content resource 1 or item content resource 2 class, that is the one that actually contains method annotated with a get and put. Okay, so this is a sub-resource class, and this method, get item content resource, this is called the sub-resource locator, because inside this method is going to locate a proper the resource object based on some business condition. Okay, so this is basically how sub-resource locator works. Okay, so let's take a look at the exercise 3. So exercise 3, we are going to I have to open it again here. I'm going to use labs and resource matching. Oh, I am not, yeah, so I want to actually read it from the browser. Yeah, this is the one. Sorry about that. Okay, so we are doing exercise 3. So here we're going to actually build this simple sub-resource sample application. So let's actually run it. So we have this the JXRS resource simple sub-resource project. Yeah, so we have to actually stop the previous project. And so click the red square here, and then we are going to run this guy, run as, and Java application. And again, main application, and see how things work. Okay, so it's up and running. So here I'm going to open, yeah, I'm going to actually start this guy, and here, and then select localhost 8080. Okay, so now if I click hello world, it will return the hello world. And if I morning and after, these are all from the root resource class. Okay. However, if I click greeting, depending on time of the day, right now it's actually before noon in Boston, so it should return morning message, good morning from sub resource. If I run this application, if I actually access this guy in the afternoon, then it should return good afternoon from a sub resource. Okay. So if you take a look at the code, yeah, I'm gonna just use the lab documentation. Yeah, so let's take a look at the call as well. If I do call command, again, it should return good morning. Okay, so good morning from sub resource. Okay, so if you take a look at the code here, we have get greeting sub resource method, which returns iGreeting interface type. Okay, and here we are basically checking whether time is before noon or not. If it's before noon, we are using morning greeting sub resource object. If it is after 12, we are using afternoon greeting sub resource object. So both of these guys are supposed to be the type of iGreeting interface type. Okay, so let's take a look at the morning greeting sub resource, and this is the one, it implements iGreeting interface, right? And then it returns, it does have a method that handles a get request, and it will actually return this message, good morning from a sub resource. And we also have afternoon, this guy, and it's returning good afternoon. Okay, and we have iGreeting, which is the just the simple interface that returns say greeting method, and these sub resources are implementing this iGreeting interface. Okay, so that is how things work. So we have two exercises. One is the create two sub resources. One is a morning walk, the other one is the afternoon walk, each of which has a method that returns I'm walking in the morning and I'm walking in the afternoon, string respectively, depending again on the time. Okay, so before noon, use a morning walk sub resource, otherwise afternoon walk sub resource. By the way, I made this change this morning, so if you have downloaded the hands-on lab last night, you probably want to actually download it. Okay, I have actually add another the exercise. Again, this is something I have done this morning. So we have in this case, we want to support two sub resources, good customer and bad customer, and each of which will return a method that returns I'm a good customer and I'm a bad customer string respectively. And what we want to do is we want to actually set some kind of the property in application properties file. Okay, so I'm going to set customer equal good. So in this case, it's going to actually use this customer property in the application properties file, and we're going to actually retrieve it using this string value notation. And depending on the customer value, we are going to use either good customer and bad customer, the sub resource object. Okay. All right. So I'm going to actually demonstrate this guy, and then I'm going to let you do the exercise. Okay. So let's. So I'm going to use this guy. So I'm going to just use the same application, where you can just create a brand new project if you want to. So here what I want to do is I'm going to actually have a good customer. So let's actually have let's have a class called so name good customer, and interfaces is going to be, I'm going to just call it the add I customer, something like that. Oh, I'm going to just add it here. Okay, good customer, and it implement I customer. Okay, and since we don't have I customer, we are going to actually create the interface. Create interface here, and it will have just a single method. Okay, so public string get message or whatever, gets message like this. Okay, and good customer should actually implement the add unimplemented method. Okay, so here it should actually return I am a good customer, something like that, right? And delete this guy. This one should be the one that actually handles, you know, the request, right? So we are going to actually have a get. Okay, and let's import the class, and we are going to have a bad customer as well, right? So I'm going to just copy, and then add. I'm going to call it bad customer, and it should return I'm a bad customer. Okay, and then in our hello world resource here, okay, so we should actually have I'm going to actually copy this guy, and we're going to actually have a customer. So depending on, so I'm going to actually use get customer. Okay, depending on the property value of customer in the application properties file, you know, basically we are going to return a different customer, right? So basically what I want to do is, so we're gonna just delete this guy, and so I'm gonna just use maybe if the customer equals, customer, so we'll probably customer, so we're gonna just use a string, right? Okay, so you know, I don't want to actually create the customer class, so I'm gonna just assume the customer is just a string. So equals customer dot equals good. Then we want to return good customer, otherwise we are going to return bad customer. Okay, now we have to actually have a customer property, so we are going to you know, receive this guy. So we are going to receive it, so first of all we're going to actually make as a string customer. So let's just use it, you know, good, let's just use just the hard-coded value instead of actually reading from application properties file. Let's actually see whether it works or not first. Okay, so I'm going to just hard-code it customer good, and we have here we are going to say customer equals good. We're going to actually be a good customer. Okay, so this one should be I customer. Oh, not I customer. Okay, all right, so we should be able to actually handle, and now we are going to so you know, now we should actually at least the work. Okay, so here that is actually relaunch the web application. So I'm going to just click this guy so that we are going to actually relaunch the application. And now let's actually see whether the call command works. Okay, so I'm going to use the call command. So here call, and hello world is the customer. Okay, so I got a bad customer. Okay, so that's interesting. So yeah, looks like the logic is not hello world equals good. So what did I do here? Oh, it says a customer is good. So why it says actually a bad customer? So customer equals good, and it should actually use the good customer. So let's see why good customer. Oh, yeah. So this is a good customer, and I should say bad customer is bad customer. So that's actually incorrect. Okay, so I'm gonna relaunch the application. All right, now this time it should actually display the correct message. Okay, good. So now we are going to, now it's the customer, and now it says a good customer. So that works good. Okay, now instead of actually hard coding this value here, okay, I want to actually retrieve this guy from application properties file. So I'm going to actually create the application properties file in the SRC main resource. In this case, it doesn't have that directory. So what you have to do is you right click it and select properties, and then select build path, and you want to add another source. So the add folder. So here basically SRC main I'm actually looking for SRC main resources. Why it doesn't have that? It's fine. This one. Yeah, so it should be add folder. Let's see, main resources. Yeah, it's supposed to have yeah, I expect the SRC main. So I'm gonna just create the right here, SRC main resources. Okay, and finish. Okay, so here and okay. So now we have application resource, SRC main resources. So I'm going to create the new file. It's going to be called application resources. Okay, so we have application resources in the class path. Now we're going to actually add customer, and this time you're going to actually say bad, right? So it's going to be either good and bad, right? Now in the resource file, we are going to be able to access this guy. The way you're going to do is, you don't need this guy anymore. We are not using hard-coded value. So this is what I actually explained in the lab documentation. So you're going to actually use a value annotation. Then you specify $customer. So in this case, it's going to read customer property from application properties file. Okay, so I'm going to just copy this guy. All right, so now the customer value is supposed to be read from the application properties file. So this time it should actually return bad customer. Okay, all right, so I'm going to just restart the application. Okay, and then run it. Oh, so it didn't work. So no message available, blah blah blah, which means that we got some problem. Oh, so we got some exception here. So what exception we got here? Oh, we got null pointer exception. Okay, so somehow it was not able to receive. So customer equals the value customer. So it should be able to receive application properties file customer, and that is bad, and it should actually receive and customer private equals. So the exception it has is the 51. Yeah, somehow the customer thinks, yes, the customer thinks that this is the null pointer. So we got the null point exception. Yeah, so application resource. Oh, sorry. It's supposed to be application properties file. Okay, so application properties. Okay, sorry about that. We're gonna restart. Okay, so it's got started, and let's actually run it. Okay, so we have the application properties. So we got the same issue. Yeah, so that looks good to me. Application properties in SRC main resources. We got customer bad, and then hello world resource. It should actually retrieve this value annotation from customer, and then you should set the customer, and then yeah, everything looks good to me. Okay, guys, I know what's wrong with this. Yeah, so this is actually something I actually mentioned in the lab document, and I forgot about it. Yeah, so you have to actually make sure the class of the class that contains a value annotation is supposed to be annotated with the component. Otherwise, it's not going to be considered as the Spring component. Stupid, I forgot. Yeah, so you have to add component. Okay, and then when you run the application, then it should work. Okay, good. So now I'm going to run it. Now it works. So now it's a bad customer. If I change the application properties file with good, save the change and rerun the application, and then it's going to return good customer. Okay, all right. And of course, the the Spring support having external file rather than as part of the job file or WAV file. So I could have the application properties outside of this project, maybe in the root of the project rather than part of the job file. So basically you can just change the application properties file external to the project without actually recompiling the application. So that's probably a better way of doing it, but at least it actually shows you that by using application property, you can actually have a different sub-resource object. Okay. All right.